This update on a report I am very, very bullish on, or just care a lot about. If you've followed me on Line Cook Thoughts for any amount of time, you'll know that I have been really a major proponent for childhood hunger. I did a fundraiser for No Kid Hungry. I think they're a great organization. I grew up needing to use SNAP benefits and needing to use benefits from the government to ensure that I could eat properly. Something happened this week that I don't see a lot of people talking about. I'll go off civilleats.com. It's been reported elsewhere. This is by Rebecca Alvey. Title: USDA cancels one of a kind report on food insecurity. Quote: the U.S. Department of Agriculture will stop publishing a report on food insecurity that anti hunger groups say is a gold standard in understanding hunger nationwide. The agency confirmed reports this weekend that it will cease future household food security reports, calling it, quote, redundant, costly, and politicized. In fact, the USDA's Economic Research Service compiles a report by collating pre existing data. That data comes from the hunger specific questions that are already part of the annual census. The anti hunger groups rebuked the decision and urged the agency to reverse course. Eric Mitchell, president of the Alliance to End Hunger, said the survey has served as a test on how well national policies and programs are working to lessen food insecurity, including the Supplemental Nutrition Assistance Program, which again I've had to use myself. Quote: with the continuing worries about food inflation as well as significant cuts to America's largest food assistance program, SNAP, this move is a blow to policymakers and advocates who rely on the data to improve the lives of our food insecure neighbors. Gina Platanino, intern SNAP director at the Food Research and Action Center, called the timing of the announcement suspect given rising concern about the impact of tariffs on grocery prices and the passage of Republicans' One Big Beautiful Bill. The massive budget bill included historic cuts to SNAP funding and is projected to cut benefits for nearly 3 million Americans. Quote, while there are other federal reports that evaluate hunger, and this is important to note, none have the same specificity and objectivity as the Household Food Security Report. It asks more detailed questions that help analysts understand how other environmental factors, policy shifts, or major events at the time may have caused a person to experience food insecurity. For example, the report allows analysts to see how the Great Recession led to spikes in food insecurity and how the influx of government assistance during COVID-19 pandemic prevented these spikes. This data is a one-of-a-kind data source, says Joseph Lobrera, Director of Food Assistance at the Center on Budget and Policy Priorities. While the report began in 1995 under the Clinton administration, Lobrera noted it stemmed from a Reagan administration task force on food assistance, which found at the time no concrete way of measuring hunger. So if you look at this report, it was born out of a bipartisan effort. And I really want to make it clear that, like, childhood hunger, again, is not a partisan issue, it's a bipartisan issue. Going on to say that the survey model has been incorporated into other federal surveys on hunger, like the National Health Interview Survey and National Health and Nutrition Examination Survey. Both ask questions about food insecurity, but the NHANES data comes in a 2-year cycle, and the sample is not large enough for demographic or state-level analysis. The USDA report, however, provides information on an annual basis and uses a large enough sample size that analysts can better understand food insecurity at the national and state level. It also includes some demographic breakdowns to better understand what puts individuals more at risk of food insecurity. Quote, we need to measure what we care about. If we care about people getting enough to eat, then there's no other data collection mechanism and report that will help us gauge the best now into the future, Lobrera said. Now, I'm just going to read you also one quick thing No Kid Hungry put up, and I really thought it was powerful. I shared it on my Instagram, and it is this. With what seems like a never-ending news cycle, you may have missed a very important update regarding the USDA's annual Household Food Insecurity Report. Over the weekend, the admin confirmed its plans to eliminate this critical report. It's important because this data is used to show trends in food insecurity nationwide and in turn illuminate how policy decisions in the current economy impact the millions of children and families in America who experience hunger. This research also helps ensure that we're wisely investing taxpayer dollars efficiently and effectively in programs that work to end hunger. It's no coincidence that this news comes after the most extreme cuts to SNAP with the passing of H.R. 1 earlier this year. This decision will cause a spike in hunger in the coming years. But with the rising cost of food, the focus should be on smart policies to eliminate hunger and not to eliminate the evidence of hunger in our country. And where I stand on this is that same message. Like, food insecurity has been an issue in our country for decades, but the fact that this admin is cutting the reporting on it is startling. And in any administration, cutting reporting on childhood hunger, on how people are not getting food adequately, is concerning. It's not right. And if we're going to make cuts to systems, we should probably figure out how that affects others. And instead, we're making cuts, and then we're also not reporting on those cuts. We're not reporting on the effects of those. And for those of you that may argue this is politicized, it goes beyond politics. It goes beyond policy decisions like this, like their Great Recession, the COVID-19 pandemic. This information was invaluable, but the pandemic came and we were able to utilize this data and to see how like government funding actually helped and prevented a lot of hunger in the United States during a time that was unprecedented. So this goes beyond just partisan politics. This is a report helping determine how people who are hungry in this nation are becoming hungry and how we can support them. And by getting rid of it, it makes that job that much harder. And it makes it that much less of a focus. And I'm always going to be an advocate for knowing where people are hungry. I had to use these programs. They're very personal to me. I've done No Kid Hungry donations. I've done fundraisers for them. So to see in the same breath us want to make this country healthy again, but then not report on food insecurity is it's really contradictory. So I really hope the current administration reconsiders this. I really hope that the USDA reconsiders this, and I'm sharing it to be a voice sharing that we really should reconsider removing this report. It is a report that is needed. It is fundamental. It gives us clear insights into hunger, and hunger is an important issue that is not easily fixed. And to not even know where to start to begin fixing it is a major problem. So I just wanted to report on that. I think it's important, especially if you at all care about the food security in our country.